Yeah. All right. Once again, tell us a little about yourselves and who you are and what you do.
Okay, I'm Tricia Greaves Nelson, the president of the Nelson Center for Emotional Healing.
I'm Roy Nelson. I do whatever she tells me to do.
Beautiful.
So tell me how you started.
He's the founder of the Nelson Center.
I know he's a modest guy. Yeah. So tell me how you started your foundation here.
Okay, so we met 24 years ago, and is that accurate? Yeah, 24 years ago, and well, okay, it was actually like 24 and a half years ago. I heard him speak, and I was hurting at the time. I suffered from food addiction. I was 50 pounds overweight, and I had addiction to alcohol and to men and approval seeking and other things. Those are the main ones. And I was trying to get help for myself, and so I was going lots of different places. I was in therapy, and I was going to 12-step groups and reading self-help books, and went to treatment also with my family. So did a lot of different things, and nothing worked for me. I couldn't lose weight. I kept binge eating. I was in crazy relationships. I mean, even in my recovery life, I was crazy. So, and hurting, and then I'd fall back into my old habits. And I was doing a lot of recovery type things. And so I really, I was trying hard. I wasn't a slouch. I was going to lots of meetings, and I had a sponsor, and I was working the steps, and I had an eating disorder therapist twice a week I was seeing. So I was really putting some effort into it, but couldn't get where I needed to go. I had a lot of pain I couldn't get to. And I basically was feeling very hopeless and feeling like nothing was working for me, and there was no way I could continue to go through my life. I mean, I was only 21 at the time, but I'd done lots of things. I've been searching for a good 4 years. And I was thinking, there's no way I could do this for the rest of my life. I mean, my yo-yoing weight-wise was awful. I mean, down 20, up 30, down 10. I mean, crazy. And then my behaviors that followed that, low self-esteem, everything. So I'm thinking, 12-step programs are supposed to be the last house on the block. Like, that's where you go when nothing else works. But it wasn't working for me. So I'm thinking, I'm really screwed. How am I ever going to get, where I need to go? So I knew some gals who were working with Roy, and I saw in them miraculous recoveries. Like, I saw one gal was bulimic and couldn't stop binging and purging for a day. And after working with Roy, she had lost the desire to binge and purge. The cravings were gone. Another gal, same thing. So I said, what are you doing? And they said, oh, we're one of this guy, Roy. So give me his number. I called him. I went to see him. Completely changed my life. I mean, from that day I went to see him, I have never been the same. And not that it all happened overnight. It was a process. But I knew with Roy, like, he could actually help me. And I've been searching for so long. And so I knew he could handle me, for one thing, because I had so much rage inside. I was a total people pleaser, so I was like, smiling all the time, saying yes to everybody, and enraged inside. I'm a good girl, I can't express that. So I could never even let a bit of it out for fear I'd just, lose my mind. And that was one of my biggest fears, I'd lose my mind and they'd lock me up. If this was in the 80s when medication wasn't, even the word depression wasn't used a whole lot. Medication wasn't, they weren't handing it out like kit pills, like candy like they are now. And if I had been in that condition here, I would have been on all kinds of meds. But anyway, I went to Roy for help. He helped me. Then I joined him. I just felt like I could see I got to witness what he did for other people. And I just said, I'm sticking with you. Like, I'm going to do it. Wherever you go, I'm going. And we just worked as a team. And then we fell in love. And then we've been together doing this as a team. And we're recently married. We took a little while to figure that one out.
Well, beautiful. You look fantastic.
Thank you.
And Roy, give me your background story.
Well, I almost died at birth, and then it kind of went downhill from there, actually. So, I've been terrified my whole life. Really, literally almost suffocated at birth, and that set up a lot of fear and phobias and that type of thing. And so I always suffered, and a lot of violence and alcohol addiction in my family, and just a lot of violence. And I grew up in a very tough place, and with a lot of tough people, and I wasn't very tough. So, pretty sensitive and fearful. And I did become a monster later. I became, about 100 pounds heavier than I am now, and hopeless case. I'm a hopeless case. I'm literally hopeless case. I was thinking about the history, and literally it's this year will be 40 years ago when I first started going to psychiatrists, therapists, and various doctors for trying to find a solution to the phobias primarily. But of course I was morbidly obese, and then I began to use alcohol to treat the phobias and the anxiety and the panic attacks. And of course I smoked cigarettes and drove big cars and chased fast women and all the things that you do when you have this condition, trying to fill up that emptiness inside. And ultimately, fortunately for me, I played out all my aces pretty quickly. In about 4 or 5 years, I came to a place where, oftentimes during that time, I thought how comforting it would be if only I could find a spiritual solution, but I knew that was all bullshit, so I knew it was a waste of time there, all phony stuff, right? So I knew there was no point in any of that. But I thought if I could be stupid enough to believe in it, then I could get some help, but of course I was too smart. That was my problem. But as it turns out, when you're dying, you become open to things you wouldn't otherwise be open to, and that's what happened for me. Latter part of 1976, I'd used up all my aces. I was completely hopeless. And that's when I had this experience that brought a peace to me that I thought I literally had never experienced before in my life. And based on that, I was able to, I had stopped smoking already, and had stopped drinking, and started losing weight, and lots of things began to change because I was changing deep inside. And so I spent a number of years looking for people who could help me, and I found a lot of people could help me a little bit, and a few people could help me a lot, but I never found anyone where I could get everything I needed. So essentially what I had to do is I had to gather a little bit here, a little bit there, bring it into my life, implement it to see that it worked, and basically to use that which worked and which didn't, to discard. And then I began to start offering it to other people as a package. Literally, I've done the work, done the research, and essentially I can cut somebody's learning curve from 30 years to 30 days, essentially because of the experiences that I've had, and what is real and there's a whole lot of stuff out there. A whole lot of stuff out there, but very little of it actually works.
So you were pretty much you have no just quote unquote training, but you have life training is kind of what you're offering folks.
Absolutely, yeah, lots of life experience. So, but what we know is it really doesn't matter what a person's problem is or what they think their problem is. It's usually something on the outside that's causing them, pain. But we know that everything on the outside is really a manifestation of what's on the inside. So it doesn't matter what addiction they might be suffering from or what kind of a problem. We don't pretend to heal cancer and that type of thing. We're not, that type of thing. But at the same time, we know that all of it's a symptom. Everything outside is a symptom of the inside. Everything in the physical body is a symptom of what's in the psyche and the soul. And so, anyway, we're able to help people overcome things that they literally have not been able to overcome by any other means. And that's primarily who we specialize in, is helping people who literally cannot get the help they need by any other means.
So your program basically deals with people that have been at the end of the road, but from what I've seen of what you've done, mostly the people need to want to get the help. I understand. In order to what you do work, the people have to be able to be open to what you have to say to them. Is that kind of?
Well, it really has to do with attitude and action.
Okay.
If a person is willing to have a good attitude and willing to take good action, because you must know it's not really, I can only, first off, only spirit within can heal someone. I can't heal anybody. And only each person can let that spirit do so. And so it really has to do with the person having a good attitude, be willing to take good action. I can show someone how they can get well. I can't make anybody well, but I can create an environment where they can hopefully feel safe enough so they can let down that ego, let down that guard. What keeps people from getting better is fear, pride, and willfulness. And if they're able to relax that, based on my providing a loving and safe, protective environment for them, if they're able to relax that fear, that pride, and that willfulness, then the solution is within them. As the problem is within them, the solution is within also. So it's just really a matter of helping them align themselves with the solution deep within, and so that they can discard the problem.
So do you think that your addictions that you've gone through give you a lot more credibility with your patients that you deal with, saying that you've been through some of the situations that they've gone through?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, literally, I'm 100% hopeless in and of myself. There's no way on earth that I could abstain from all the things I need to abstain from, except that the desire, the need, the requirement for those things would be removed. And that's what we have to offer here.
And it's our, can I expand on that?
Sure.
It's our experience. See, people with addictions, they have trust issues, just intrinsically. They have trust. They got hurt as young kids and they made a decision, screw it, I'm not trusting anybody. So they're always guarded. And yet they walk into situations and get had all the time. It's one of those paradoxes.